history of fly fishing is directly tied to the history of fly lines. I mean, when you watch anything about fly fishing, you will see a fly line going through the air, and there is something magical about that.
One of the really awesome things about fly fishing is just the places it'll take you, if you're willing to go. You can fish your entire life around where you live, which is awesome, but it can also take you places around the world you didn't think possible. Without a line, there is no connection to the fish. People have been using sticks tied with something to catch fish with some sort of rudimentary hook since the dawn of time. And that connection between the implement they're using and the fly that they've created, that connection is real and tangible.
Fly fishing is like the perfect combination of art and science.
You know, the really cool thing about Scientific Anglers is with our new team in place, it feels like a startup, but it's a startup with 70 years of history already built in.
Alright, there's a couple rocks here in the middle that will fish the slicks below them where this drops off. Yep. Nice slicks and bubble lines right there.
The fly line is really the most important part of the system. If it isn't good and everything else is great, it doesn't work. If I have a very mediocre rod and a great fly line, I know it's going to work really well.
Fly lines are really kind of an underestimated portion of a fly fishing rig. Most people will look at a fly line and say, you know, it's not as important as this $800 rod that I bought, or it's not as important as this $500 reel I bought. But in reality, a fly line is a huge portion of that system. And a terrible fly line can make the best fly rod cast terribly.
I think one of the things that brings people into fly fishing is the magic of fly casting, and being able to see the line kind of unroll off the tip of the rod as you're casting and watch the loop form. And you can read into that in so many different ways in terms of how the line and the rod are working together with the angler. And it's a dynamic connection that allows the angler to feel that fish at the end of the line, right into their hand, into the rod grip.
We know the climate, we know generally who's going to be using them, we know the distance, we know the fly, we know with what leader, and we design the line to encompass all of those variables so that it works exactly the way it needs to work in those circumstances.
Each line is really scrutinized through the entire process, from the earliest samples and the testing that's done in the field from pro staff and some of our staff here internally, as well as once it gets into manufacturing and we've got an actual operator putting their hands literally on every inch of that fly line before it ends up in a package and going out the door to our customers. And that's probably the one thing I think that really sets Scientific Anglers apart is that commitment to quality in every product, every fly line that we put out there. It's really our job to make sure that the experience of the angler buying our product and putting it to use on the water, that's attributing to just a phenomenal experience for them when they're out there fishing and enjoying the recreation of the sport that they're so passionate about.
There aren't any ideas that we're not willing to try. And I think that's what separates us from the rest of the fly lines out there, is we will be willing to take a chance and do something different if we feel strongly that that technology is going to make the lines perform better than they have before. And that is an extremely important thing for SA as we move forward, is constantly improving, constantly working on ways to make the lines perform better.
Working at Scientific Anglers is really cool because we have so many people in the office that are truly passionate about fly fishing. For me, that gives me a couple benefits. The main one is that I already have an internal testing team for whenever I build a new product, which is huge. Saves a lot of time on my end. But what it also gives us is a sense of camaraderie, and it gives us something that we can bond over. I mean, we take trips on weekends, we'll go after work, go fish. We all have a really good relationship around fly fishing. And what we really do with that is we take those hours of experience on the water and different applications, and we bring that back and apply it to all of our products.
Every single inch of line that we make today is really a result of all of the team members that we have here at Scientific Angler. It's the people. Some of them are die-hard fly fishermen, that are working in sales or working in the office. Some of them that are out here on the manufacturing floor are passionate about it too. All of them, every single one of them, 100% of the team wants to do a great job. They're dedicated to building the best fly lines in the world. They know what that is. They know what the quality is that they need in order to have the best fly line. And they just pull it off day in, day out. And that's really the passion that I see in Scientific Angler. I see it as being over 70 years old and just getting better and stronger even today.
Accelerate and stop, and accelerate and stop. There you go. And but remember to keep that forward cast up a little higher. You don't want to drive it down because then you don't get the presentation. So you have to stop a little higher and let it turn over. Slow down and come back a little further. Good. There you go. See, no more tailing loop either. Okay? Because you opened the arc up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect.
The industry is in an extremely healthy place. I feel like there's a lot of younger blood coming into the sport, and there's a lot of respect for what came before. But the new blood in the sport is really lending itself to some adventurous, awesome things, and SA is just extremely happy to be a part of it.
Gone are the days of tweed jackets and dry fly only, upstream casts. We've got huge streamers and we've got young kids out here with Instagram accounts. It's really neat. The biggest thing for us is just continuing on the sport. I mean, we all have such a passion for fly fishing, and it's something that we would like to pass on to as many people as we possibly could.
I think it's great that we connect so many people to fish.
Yep.
And that we do that through the work and that we do every single day. Makes me proud, makes me really proud to have worked at SA and to have been a part of that, that connection, and the people.
There's this undeniable, eternal, natural energy that comes from the river, and I think that's what captures us. That energy is really what pulls us back, and that energy lives inside of Scientific Anglers. And really every person in this company feels it. We really believe in it, and we've made it our mission to connect every angler to that energy so they can experience it the same way we do.